Hey guys, Motorcarnut here, and today we have another video on removing a Hyundai Kia engine. This is a 2.4 liter found in the 2011 to 2015 Kia Optima and the Hyundai Sonata, or any other ones that have the 2.4 in that generation. This is the GDI engine. Now, I'm going to be pulling the engine, and it's a great video if you want to know where the components are, how hard it is to get to certain components on the engine. So that's why I'm doing the video. So let's get right to it. The first thing you're going to want to do is take out the battery. I just did that. Disconnect the negative and then the positive. Pull the battery out. Then what we're going to do is this over here. The cover, it's just held in there by rubber mounts. See these rubber mounts? You just push this up, get this out of the way. Then we're going to take off the air intake. We got 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and a 10 millimeter. Okay. Then take off the hose from here. Take off the hose to the booster. And this hose here. And this way you can take the whole air intake system out. I'm going to do that, and we'll continue. Don't forget the clamp for the throttle body over here. Okay, and then that's basically it. The whole thing comes out, and we're going to continue now. Okay, being I'm pulling the engine, the electrical harness right here, it comes up, goes into the computer over here. You take them off there, and then there's a bottom one. This electrical a wire harness over there. You take this off. Can I show you? Okay, and then you take this plug out. All right, and then the whole harness over here stays on the engine, so you don't have to play with none of the sensors on the engine. All right, I'm gonna disconnect the computer and the harness right here. All right, over here we have 10 millimeter here, 10 millimeter here, and it takes the harness out of the way. Before that, I'm sorry, there's a ground right here. That'll take the bolt out of here to get the grounds free. Now, we got the harness out of the way. What you're going to do is you can drain the coolant if you want, because you're going to have to take off the hoses, the radiator top and the bottom. But what I'm going to do right now before I put it on the lift is I'm going to take off this connector right here for the fan module. We have a 10 millimeter here and a 10 millimeter on the other side. But before that, we have to take the top hose off because it's probably in the way. Or maybe you could just take it off from here, the 10 millimeter, and slide the fan out. And then I'm not taking the radiator out because once you take the fan out, you got, it's pretty much the radiator is inside, so it's flush. So we don't have to do that. And I'm going to do that right now, and then we're going to continue. All right, here's the radiator fan. And you have two 10 millimeter here and here, and the bottoms just slide in. There's little tabs right there. It just slides in. Okay, and then now you're going to have your two connectors here. You take them off, and this slides right out. After you move the radiator hose. Okay, now what I did over here, got to be careful on yours. This thing is plastic, and I took the clamp off, and I went to break the hose loose, and it's, if you can see in here, has a crack. See that crack right there? So this whole thing cracked. What you can do if you want to avoid that is probably take off this whole piece by itself with the hose. I'm going to replace it now because it broke. Yeah, now it came loose. Before it wasn't, but anyhow, it's cracked here. So I have to replace that. So just be careful when you do that. All right, so I'm going to take the bottom hose off, this hose off, and then we'll take it from there. So now we're going to take off the heater core hoses, 1 and 2, move them out of the way, and off the transmission over here, because the harness is going to come with the engine. It's going to come in the, with the engine. This one and this one, I believe, because it hooks up to here. and this harness is going with the engine to pull it out. Now you come around this side, everything looks good over here. When we get on the bottom, you got to take off the AC compressor, so that stays in the car. You come over here, you have a ground over here, 10 millimeter, you take that out of the way. Okay, and then we're gonna get back over here. And hopefully these bolts will come out. You take these bolts out. We're gonna take this cover off because I think we have to get to the exhaust flange from the top. I'm not sure yet. So what I'm gonna do now is what I just told you, and then we'll take it from there. And I forgot. And the fuel rail. I mean, not the fuel rail, the fuel hoses. Right here. I'm gonna take this one off. And over here. And this harness over here just moves out of the way. Okay, on the fuel rail, this just pops up this piece over here. And you take a screwdriver and you pop this clip out. All right, and you can remove this. You see how that closes? Okay, and now over here, what you're gonna do is there's a little ring here. You're gonna push this ring in while you push this in and then pull it out. And let's see if she pops out. And it comes out. So you just push this in. You know, it's gonna be over here. You get like 2 screwdrivers, you push it in while you push it both in. This, in other words, this plastic piece has to be flush and then it comes out. See, it has to be all the way in there to release the springs that are in there. You see those springs? And then it comes right out. Okay, so everything is off to the side. The heater core hoses, like I said, the ground strap on the other side. Now, you take off the lines of the transmission. Now, there's this line over here. All right, it goes up. I'm gonna take off the battery tray. I think it goes to this areas. I'm not sure. Take it off because I want that with the car. I rather, like I said, I'd rather have all the electrical on the car. But if you want to do it differently, that's fine. This line it goes up in there, and a whole bunch of sensors and stuff. I'd rather just take it off if it's easier this way. So I'm gonna take the battery tray off. What else? And you have transmission to engine bolt. There's one right here. And then there's one over here. And then you got one here. And another one down there and a couple on the bottom. Then you got to take off, I'll show you once we get underneath there. So right now I'm going to take the battery tray off and see about this harness over here. Okay, so I took it off. And so what we're going to do is just take it off here. And it's like a harness here. You got the 2 10 millimeters there. All right, and then up to the fuse box over here, you take it off here. And just take this off here, because this was part of the battery, the positive side. So we take this and we just take it out so it goes on the engine. So now, once you're on the bottom, take out most of the bolts. Don't take them all out, obviously, leave one. Okay, you have one behind there too. There's going to be a little plastic cap here. You take it off, it exposes the converter bolts. There's 17 millimeter. You take a wrench, 22 millimeter on the crank, and you crank it till it lines up. Take them out. I think there's 3 of them there. I'm not sure. You take them all out, and after that, what appears to be on this side, it looks like the CV joint is in the way, right here. That it's in the way of coming out. And I think I'm gonna take it out. Take the CV joint out. I don't know. I'll let you know what I'm doing. Okay, so what I did is took out all the bolts just to move it out of the way off, and sure enough, it does hit the axle. The axle has to come out. It's so close to the engine block over here that it just has to come out. Another thing is the exhaust bolts. It's easier to get them from the bottom. Let me show you. It's easier to grab them this way with a wrench. Make sure you lube it up nice, and you can get them off. Okay, and then there's a shield. I don't know if we can see it over here. Oh, yeah. This shield is attached to the transmission up here. You have to take that off. So this whole thing goes with the engine, and this is stopping it. It's mounted to the tranny. But yeah, she's hitting here. All right, so you gotta take the axle out. What I do is, I guess it's best just to take the whole thing out, I guess. The whole axle instead of just leaving it hanging. Unless you wanna do that, but it's gonna be in the way. Is you take this bolt out, separate it a little bit up here, hit this a couple of times, and she should come down. All right, and get that bolt out and over there, and take the CV joint out. I'll do that next, and then I think we're gonna go on the top, put a crane on there. Okay, so when you take the axle, you actually don't have to take the axle all the way out, just a couple inches if you want, and leave it in there. It's up to you if you want to take it all the way out. I did that on the bottom, hooked up the crane, and let me show you. Over here, don't forget about the bolt that goes on here. It hooks over here. All right, that whole thing goes with the engine. And if you took all the wiring harnesses like I did, you moved them up. They're all nice and neat. And it's basically ready to come out. All right, so now I'm gonna just jack it up. You jack it up, you make sure there's no wires that you missed that are pulling and they're gonna rip out. And you jack it up little by little as you wiggle it. Make sure you put a jack under the transmission so it stays level. You don't want to cock down or too much up. You want it pretty much level. So when you slide the engine just enough to the frame on the other side, she should slide right out. I'm going to do that right now. And that's it. Came out pretty good. Just wiggle it out. Make sure it doesn't, like I said, pull any wires. And this was the bolt in the back. It was a little tricky. I didn't see this one when I was pulling it out. But anyway. What it looks like. You get an idea. You see, like I like all the harnesses on here. This way, when I take everything off, you just mark it. You put the harnesses on the side. And when you put it back, it's so much easier than trying to take off the manifold and try to get in here and try to grab things in the car. It just makes it easier. Plus, you can look at the harness, see if there's anything wrong with it. Anyway, and there's the empty. You could put a jack under there. I put a support bar, but it doesn't matter. Just keep it straight. You don't want the converter to come out. If it comes out, it can leak. It's a good idea to replace that seal. That's definitely a good idea. And that's basically it. All right, guys, Motorcarnut, please subscribe, hit the like button. Any questions, leave them below pertaining to the video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.